the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, March 21st. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, y'all, I'm TJ Huddleston.
Are we still y'all in it?
Why not?
Because I'm in Pickering, Ontario, y'all, and I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, all about y'all's home automation and home technology. Guys, this is a funny story. Traveling last week, got back in town. My wife's like, "Hey, we need some groceries. Go to the grocery store and go to Costco." I was like, "Costco?" She's like, "Yeah, we need
a lot of groceries.
We need some paper towels and all that stuff. You got to get it from Costco, right? Because you get like a big giant box of it and
boatload of paper towels. Yeah.
Because we're running a business here at the house, a business of wasting paper, I guess, because it goes by pretty quickly.
Hey, kids are messy, so that makes sense.
It says, I get to Costco, and on there at the bottom it says new TV.
Yes.
Now I thought it was a joke. I think I was being played. So I took my time and I looked at the new TVs, and there's two TVs that I liked, and we had some discussion in the hub about which one we were looking at. The LG C4 OLED,
yeah, and
then the same, if not exactly price matched of it, the Sony, what's it called? The Sony
Bravia 8.
Is it Bravia 8 or Bravia 7? I don't know. It was like the same
Bravia 8,
same price, $1,500, $1,400, somewhere in there. I don't know. I didn't think that I was going to get away with, well, I mean, I would have, but I didn't think I was going to get away with just like showing up with the TV. And I thought it was a joke. So I was like, and I got home and my wife was like, "You didn't get a new
TV?" She was expecting it.
Man.
The one time you get permission.
Exactly. So she keeps mentioning to me like, "Hey, you need to go get a TV." So I got to know, like, am I on the right track with these two TVs? Like, can I go wrong with either one? They both look beautiful.
No, I would personally, I would do the Sony myself. I have a LG C3. I think, Gavin, you have the same one, don't you?
Yeah, something like that.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer the Sony operating system and stuff more than the LG. And I know, Seth, you told us you're not going to use the operating system.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you have to at some point. You're going to have to play with the settings. You're going to have to do stuff. And the Sony is just better for that, in my opinion. So I would do the Sony.
Wait a second. Is the Sony an OLED or a QLED?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's an OLED.
I think it's I thought it was OLED, but it looked just as good. I'm surprised.
No, it's an OLED. If you go with the Bravia 8, it is an OLED.
Okay, and so the Bravia 7 may have been what I was looking at. Now I'm confused. And
the Bravia 8, the Sony Bravia 8, has an 8.9 mixed usage reading on ratings.com. So that's how you know it's good.
Okay, it was definitely that one. So the other one was about $100 less. I'm like, why would you get... So that QLED one looked great. Looked just as good as the OLEDs if you're direct on, but as soon as you get off axis, it was... You started getting the washed out contrast on it. Like, just barely off axis. So I was like, you know what? If you're paying that much for a TV, you may as well get the OLED. So that's when I started looking at the OLED.
Yeah, and I think I haven't really done much with this myself because I always just steer people to OLEDs. But if I remember correctly, QLEDs are better for a brighter room. So if you have a room that has a lot of windows or you're going to be watching during the day, the QLED is technically better for that. But overall, I think the OLEDs are good. And I don't know. I would stick to OLED.
Most of our time it is watching TV at night.
Yeah.
There is a window in the room. So, and it can be, it can be bright in the room if we wanted to, but we can also shut the shades if we're having problems with it. But I think I'm going to go with I keep leaning towards the Sony. I don't know. I've always had problems controlling Sonys, and LGs I don't have problems controlling.
You know what? Can I give a bit of advice? Avoid the LG, please.
How are the ads, Gavin? Are the ads okay?
Okay, I've been fighting with my LG ever since I got it. It's an annoying TV. It seems like with every firmware upgrade, they break something. Like I'm fighting with like the screen being too dark and stuff like that. And then you got to go on some Reddit threads and stuff like that. And if you want to use like any feature such as like AirPlay to the TV, you have to agree to pretty much everything, which then puts it online again, re-enables all their useless stuff that just, you get ads, you get this, you get that. It's an annoying experience. Drives my wife crazy, especially because we use a Harmony remote. So then she's got to remember that she's got to switch it over to LG remote mode, and then she can answer.
Update.
Yeah. And I just don't know why they keep doing this. If you're going to get a dumb TV, then, and not use any of that stuff, like you can use AirPlay through the Apple TV or something like that, then leave it unplugged. But you'll probably want to do some update to the firmware at some point to fix something. And then they'll catch you then.
My biggest annoyance with the LG, because I'm like you, Seth, I don't use the LG TV software. I never touch it. My biggest annoyance, though, is every time it has an update, it shows up on the screen and it won't go away for like forever. I'm sure it's like 30 seconds or something, like not obnoxious, but it's so obnoxious.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Sony does that. So that alone is making me point you to the Sony.
Yeah, that popped up to me today, actually. And I just, to get it out of the way, I just agreed to it.
And I never have my TV remote, because why do I need my TV remote? So then I have to go find my TV remote and then do the update. And then it's like, all right, well, I'll do it when you restart. And I'm like, that's cool. You could have just did that in the background because I have auto update on, but that's fine.
I think they know that's a problem, though, because actually under the updates message, they actually say you must use the LG remote.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure people have been complaining about that, too.
Yeah, no, it is very aggravating. So just go with the Sony, Seth.
All right. You're pushing me that way.
You have two LG C3 owners telling you to get the Sony.
It's just like your pains over here. Get the Android TV. Android, nothing's wrong with Android. Google doesn't kill anything.
Honestly, like Android is one of those things that like for the longest time, it was always slow and didn't run well and stuff like that. But I feel like the smart TV for some reason is really good. And by really good, I mean just like any other smart TV. But it works a little bit better because it's not some weird proprietary thing.
Yeah. Wow, it's 50 pounds.
Yeah, OLEDs are heavy.
All right, well.
Yeah, and Sony hasn't made theirs obnoxious where they're like 3/4 thin, but like you have to like grab the really thin part to like mount it and everything like that. So Sony's a little easier with that. LG, I hate picking up because it's like the border of it is so thin, and it's like, where do I grab this thing to put it up on the wall?
Right.
I feel like I'm gonna break it.
That's the one? It has like the bottom part is like bumps out.
Yeah,
if I remember
it's like an iPhone, right? It's like it's got the really thin and you can grab it and everything like that, but then it's got that giant bump, and you're like, can you not just make it the same size?
Well, it's lighter though. The TV's only 36 pounds.
Is that the Evo you're looking at though? Because there's like a LG G4 or C4 Evo.
Yeah, it's an Evo AI.
I think the Evo is lighter than the regular one, and I don't know the difference between the C4 and the Evo. But yes, there's quite a big weight difference in them.
Interesting. Yeah, it's definitely what I was looking at, unless it's only $100 difference between the Evo and the non-Evo or whatever. But all right, well, she keeps asking me if I'm going to go get this TV. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So the problem is like I can get the TV, and like I think she thinks like magically that this TV is going to get hooked up and is going to work. That's not how that works. Like I've got to take down. It's going to replace the main TV. I'm not going to like take the main TV. I have never liked. It's a cheap LG from whatever. And it's got instead of like zone dimming, it's got, or the zone, you know how they have zones, right? This must have like a zone on the left-hand side and a zone on the right-hand side. Because if there's a spinner, like the LG updating spinner thing that happens every now and then, if you're in a dark room, when the spinner gets to the right-hand side of the screen lights up. If it gets to the left-hand side of the screen lights up. I'm like, I hate this TV. So it was only a few $100 when we bought it a number of years back. And I think it was like one of those, we got a coupon for it, so why not?
You're going to splurge now.
Yeah, now we need a real grown-up TV. And we watch enough stuff. And a lot of the shows now, like, they're getting darker and darker.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Well, look, you're in a good position. I had to convince Nicole we needed a new TV when we moved in the house. And I was like, no, it's going to make a big difference. And luckily, it did make a big difference. So you're in a good spot. You just need to do it, Seth.
Yeah.
You need to go tomorrow.
I'll give you some advice. It's easier to ask for permission than it is easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Oh, I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's just like a general life
I can't believe, Seth, she's actually chasing you, or my wife's like, how did you know we needed a new TV?
There's so many sub-projects in this, guys. Come on. Like, you're not, like, I have...
A new TV outweighs sub-projects because, look, Seth, you're never going to finish a project anyway. This is a project that you can finish.
I got to change out the mount. The Sonos is mounted to it, right? So like I've got to pull the whole old TV down, remove the Sonos thing. I've got to I want to change the mount out. The mount was garbage. Like I need a articulating mount, right? So I've got to find one of those.
Do you have a Sonos sub on it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got the old play bar with the sub system.
Okay.
Just, that's all we have, play bar and a sub.
Oh, well, you need a Sonos Arc Ultra now.
Exactly.
I mean,
well, okay. Well, see, now we're just adding on to it.
yeah.
So she started it, so now you get as much as you can and let her cut away. Yeah, and
I'll just come home with like 2 articulating mounts,
exactly.
a Sonos, another sub.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't tell her because you're like, no, we need all this stuff with the TV. I mean,
yes, exactly. It was a package.
I can't believe it. This is a great deal they had at Costco.
Yeah. And once she hears it for the first time, she'll like it. Trust me.
I'll hook you up, Seth. Don't worry. No, you have ADI. You can hook yourself up.
Yeah, right.
You see, you're stressing over the amount of work it's going to take to get rid of the TV, not to have a new TV. I can't believe that's your problem here.
Seth just doesn't like projects. He's like, I have to do stuff with the stuff. I don't know. I don't want to do the stuff.
I predict 3 shows from now he will start the show off with, well, I've taken the old TV off the wall.
I got the box. Okay,
Yeah.
the box is here.
He goes, well, I'll update you next show.
You should see if he beat one of my clients. They had a TV brand new in the box for a year before they installed it. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you could beat them.
You plug it in and it's like certificate invalid, can't update. It's like, damn it. Whoops. We wanted to it's spring break, so we wanted to let our daughter play some video games. She's old enough, it's like it's time to start playing some games. So we got
Heck yeah.
we got an old cartridge game. It was like one of those Mario games. I don't remember which one it was, but it's like one of those competitive like 4-player Mario games for the Nintendo 64, right? So we're gonna do that and play it. I'm sure it'll look great on a giant 60-inch TV in the room that it'll be in. I also measured, and it's not going to be fun to mount the 60-inch TV that we currently have in the room that it needs to go in because it's got like very little clearance. It's going to replace my 47 weird size 47-inch, 46-inch Samsung Touch-A-Color plasma TV that went bad.
Did you say plasma? Your house is going to be cold after you turn that thing off for good.
It hasn't worked in a while, and it doesn't get cold here anyway, so it's the problem.
Do you need an articulating mount for your TV?
I want to change them both out to articulating because it's so much easier to service, and anything you need to do, and like mount and set up. I
have another option for you if you don't need articulating. This is the one I use all the time. It's called the Sanus 4D mount. And it's kind of it's a tilt mount, but it actually pulls out like 5 or 6 inches, so you can access behind it without being like a full articulating. So you can still get it kind of flush-ish to the wall, because you don't have the bulk of the articulating mount. But this is literally the default bracket I use for every TV.
That's brilliant. And it's not made out of like the thin metal.
Right. No, it's like actually robust. I was very skeptical of those little extending arms at first because I was like, well, those can't be that strong. But I've literally installed like a 98-inch TV on them and they're fine. Typically, if I go like 85 or bigger, I do an articulating mount just because it is a lot easier. But these are perfect for the majority of installs.
Scissor mechanism provides a smooth in and out swivel motion.
So you do that, and then you get one of these other Sanus Sonos Beam or Sonos Arc mounts, and it attaches to the back of the TV as well. And that's your solution there.
I have those. Oh, I have that on the old
the play
TV.
bar.
Yeah. It's on probably an old Snap AV bracket, honestly. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
So you just like, you can pull half the TV off the wall, plug something in. I need to get back there every now and then and do stuff. And I'm scared to touch it because that TV with the Sonos attached to it's quite heavy.
Yeah.
With all the junk I had mounted on to the bracket to support the electronics and stuff, it was like once I got it up there, I'm pretty sure I like scratched the wall beyond all belief.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, if I take it down, my wife can't be here. That's another thing.
No, that's fine. It's behind the TV. Nobody cares about that.
I know, but she will. She's like paint the other side of the fence type, so like
she's Steve Jobs.
She's like, you wrecked my wall. It's like, you didn't even notice for 5 years.
Just wait till I put this new one up.
Hold my beer. So, yep. All right. Well, I've got some things to buy. See, someone has to wait for this to get shipped to me too. Like, I can't. I got time. Poor girl's not going to ever play any video games. She's like, back to school now. You don't get to play this game we teased in front of you for the whole week.
Just give her an iPad. Aren't kids just using iPads anymore? They don't even watch TV.
Yeah, if she could, she tries. She steals the iPad, runs off, Now that you said that, it's not here anymore. So I wonder where it is. She'll run off. She loves playing Minecraft, so she'll go in there and do all sorts of stuff.
My favorite thing is I did like a 100-inch or 120-inch movie theater for somebody. And I was like, oh, how are the kids liking it? They enjoy watching movies and stuff. And the homeowner was like, they just watch movies on their iPhones. And I was like, well, wait, what? No, you have this giant screen right here? They're like, yeah, they just keep watching YouTube videos on their phone in the theater. So I guess that's a win. But yeah, kids, they don't like big screens nowadays.
No, you get this little private screen. You can watch your videos on. Of course, now that Canada's taken away all our videos, we're not going to get any videos. So.
All the good ones.
Thanks, Gavin.
It's not my fault.
I don't know what you're going to do with all that porn, but geez.
Why do you think us Canadians are always so happy?
It's quite amazing. Well, we'll put a link to the show notes. I guess there's a threat that Canada's going to cut off the porn supply to America. It is quite staggering to see how much porn Canada's been hoarding. I can't believe it.
All the good stuff.
It's an act of war.
We'll put a link in the show notes. The article's quite funny. So anyway, we're off for a week. I was out of town. I was actually working. I kind of got a new job at a company called DMF. They do lighting fixtures. They're a lighting fixture manufacturer. They have a bunch of really interesting products, and I think what they're really known for is kind of like when I first saw these things. I was at a trade show, and they had this table with all of their like parts and pieces that you can assemble. And it was like watching people play with Legos, right? So they're known for like these little, they have the housing, they have the modules, they have all the lenses that's attached to the modules to make like a narrow beam and that kind of thing. It all like snaps together, and it's all like interchangeable and really well engineered. So they've got some product launches coming up, and I'm going to be helping them out with their website and stuff. So should be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you came back to us. I was worried about you hitting the big leagues out there and just never coming back to podcasting with us. So
it's like just burn the podcast bridge, I guess. I don't know. No. Just the time zones it's just kind of weird. It's like 3 hours back, and I don't know. I think I could. Just for a week, it's kind of difficult, but I think I could make things work. Jason was there for years, and we recorded. He was in LA, I was here, and we recorded for years at, I forget what it was. It must have been like 4:00 his time. So,
well, yeah, that would make sense because if anybody knows anything about me, I'm usually in bed by like 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. So, Seth would have been ready at like 8:00, and I'd be like, "Nope, I'm already in bed, dude." We talked about it, but it was only a half serious conversation because I was like, "There's just no way." I'd be finishing up at like 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Yeah, we might pull that tonight. So we're almost there. You got about 10 minutes for bedtime. So.
Oh man, already falling asleep.
Yep. All right. Well, before we get to the headlines and stuff, we had a ton of feedback in the mailbag over the last 2 weeks, and evidently y'all are crazy about Florence, Kentucky, because we had so many letters come in. One here from Randall, who wrote in to let us know the Florence, Kentucky water tower was constructed before the Florence Mall was built. The tower said Florence Mall, except it wasn't a mall yet. There was a big uproar of over building the mall, I guess, and something happened, yada, yada, yada. Developer walked away. So they changed. The city just went up there and just painted over the M. Painted a big Y, and now it says Florence, y'all. Yeah, it's brilliant. And kind of the same email from Carlton there. He says he's in Indianapolis, but he used to live there, and he kind of had the same story.
Yeah, he says a little different story though. He says there was a built when the water tower was built in 1974. The mall paid for the words Florence Mall painted on the tower. There was then a lawsuit from other businesses, and it turns out it's illegal to use municipal property to advertise commercial, which obviously that makes sense.
Yeah.
And as a form of mild protest, the advertising was removed, not by repainting over all the letters, but rather just by changing the M to a Y.
They had a few buckets of white paint and a few buckets of black paint.
Like, man, it'd be so difficult to repaint this whole thing, but
I can get you one letter.
One person thought about that idea, and everybody else is like, "That's genius, Jim. Good job.
Get on up there, Jimmy.
You just saved us $15,000." Yeah, so every time I travel through Kentucky, it's one of those landmarks that you've reached Kentucky whenever you see the water tower. So it's cool to hear some of the backstory on that and find out why it's actually there, because I never knew why.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. And if I ever drive by and see Florence Y'all, I'll know that there was once almost a mall there.
You're only 3 hours away from me. That's what you'll know.
Oh, there you go. That's probably what I'll be doing. Driving up saying hi to DJ. All right. I hope you have some shrimps. Let's see.
What?
You and your boxes of shrimps, you male people. All right. We have a letter also from Mike. He said, "Hey guys, love the show and the hub." He said, "One topic I'd like to hear you discuss and argue about is how to elevate your network setup. Most people agree on the benefits of segregating IoT devices. However, there seems to be no consensus on whether Home Assistant should sit on the default VLAN or the IoT VLAN. It's obviously there's obviously significant usability and security pros and cons to either setup. So I'd be interested to hear how you guys structure your unified networks. He says, I'm also fine if you want to refer to this as a Gavin as a service and send me a bill. So, Mike, the invoice will be in the mail. What do you guys do? I kind of have my own opinion on this, but what do you guys do?
I do nothing. I'm I know we've talked about this in the past. I am not a fan of VLANs just because it adds extra complications to your network, right? I can see the argument for having them. In terms of security and stuff like that. Like, I understand the need for them, but I mean, when you're already having to fix like Home Assistant every month, I don't want to add that into the whole equation and have to fight with the network. If you are going to do the VLAN though, I would say put your Home Assistant on the VLAN with the other devices, because it would be much easier having to open up a port just to get to the Home Assistant than having to open up ports for Home Assistant to get to every little device. And you will really have to know the ports that all those devices communicate on, and it's just extra work. So that's how I would go if you were going to do that.
Yeah, I just I raw dog my internet security, and I don't do anything. So I don't separate anything.
No passwords, no updates.
But this goes
DMZ
back to like,
the whole thing.
we don't need any. My Wi-Fi is wide open. I don't want passwords. No, this goes back to my like whenever I buy something, for the most part, if it's like a smart home device, I don't want it to use internet. And that is the reason why, is because I don't want to have to worry about the security of it, right? So all my sensors that I can are Zigbee and Z-Wave because they just communicate locally. I don't have to worry about internet. The other stuff like my Sonos or like my TVs and stuff like that, I'm not really that worried about at the end of the day. So I just don't, personally, I don't see a use for it. Unless you are in like a commercial environment. A commercial environment is a place that we use VLANs for, most commonly with, guest networks or staff devices and that kind of thing.
Point of sale.
Yeah, point of sale, all that good stuff. I do that just because you don't want somebody else on the network to access those things. But in a home, I think literally the only time I ever did a VLAN, and this is probably not the proper setup, but this is what we did to solve it, is we ran out of IP addresses. And so we put all of our camera stuff on a separate VLAN, and we did everything else just so we can get those extra IP addresses. And that's not even the proper use for a VLAN at that point. So that's the only time I've really used it in a residential setting.
Yep. All you have to do is change your subnet to 255.255.252, and you get a few hundred. And if you go 255.255.0, you get a few thousand IP addresses on the same flat network, and everything can live there. I usually use the /24, which I think is 255.255.252.0, and that'll give you a few hundred IP addresses on the normal IP schemes that people use. But I'm a big, especially in the home, a flat network thing. Flat network person. I will add more IP addresses, and I don't see a value in the VLAN stuff in residential, because typically the products that are made to be in your home, if you do your research and you know what you're looking at, they are made to go out and securely talk to a server somewhere, and then your phone is going out to securely meet up with it. Now, I will say that if you're communicating locally, that's kind of off the table. Like, there's a port open on a device on your network. As long as you don't forward that port out to the outside world, you don't have to worry about too much. The biggest thing, that people in the IT world are concerned about is, like, if you have a computer that gets compromised and it starts going out and looking for IoT devices like cameras and stuff. I mean, we've seen these botnets that are out there. Like, they'll infect those cameras with the botnet thing, and then that's living on your network and causing problems with everybody else in the world. So that's what they're worried about. I'm not too much worried about it because I don't have those types of devices on my network. Like I'm not getting the worst of the worst products out there, and I do try and keep them updated, all that stuff. So I would say flat network, save your headaches for some other, like you don't want to come home and be an IT manager and like, is this on the 30 VLAN? Is this on the 20 VLAN? Like, forget that. I don't want to do that. If that's your thing, and if you like looking at all those numbers, go for it. Do it. But you have to poke holes in between the VLANs to make everything work, or it's just not going to work the same. And Home Assistant's designed to talk to local devices on a local network. That's their big thing, local control. And if you're on a VLAN, that means you're on a different network. So it's not going to work as great as it could be. But like Gavin said, if you absolutely had to, probably put those on a VLAN by themselves, put the Home Assistant over there, and then poke a hole back over. So you can use Home Assistant through the VLAN and talk to it that way, because it will be much easier than trying to get all the UDP messaging and broadcast and multicast stuff to work through VLANs. That's awful. Nobody wants to do that. So that's all I got on it. Flat networks for win.
Yeah, that's right. We don't need no security.
All right, we got one more letter from David. David says, "Hey, y'all, longtime listener from Seattle. Your show's episode are my number one pick for listening while on my commute. My wife and I were trying to think of a place, thinking to place a monitor in the kitchen to watch while cooking or doing dishes. And we only watch streaming apps. We don't have cable or TV or cable. So something like the Amazon Echo Show 10 would probably work. But curious if y'all had any other suggestions." And I gotta say, like, for me, I don't. I would say that's probably the perfect device for a kitchen.
Yeah.
But have you guys seen anything else out there? That I haven't. I think Amazon's kind of the only one making something that it's kind of all on one device.
I mean, for the cost of the Echo Show and what it can do, I think that's probably the best choice. And I know Jimmy, who's in our hub, he's a fan of them. He has them in his kitchen. He likes them. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else really making something like that, unless you wanted to mount like an iPad or something like that. But that's a significant price difference too, right? And you probably don't want to do that either. The Show seems to be the kitchen screen device you want.
I guess my question is, what do you actually want to use it for, right? Because if you're just using it to watch TV, then I would just buy a TV, because that is going to be your most inexpensive option. But I feel like if I didn't already have my TV and I was in the Amazon Alexa space, I would do the Echo Show. I would probably do the Echo Show 15 or 21 just because I prefer that larger screen. But I do like the idea of my hub and my TV being built into one device. I think that is really cool. And especially the evolution of the Echo Show 15, it wasn't really meant to stream TV apps initially. It was basically just a smart home display. And they've added those streaming apps after the fact. And I think that is a really nice device, especially for a kitchen. So that's probably what I would do, honestly.
Yeah, I think I would too, even though I'm not an Amazon Echo user, but if I had the application used, I also just did a quick search for kitchen TV, and there was this company called Silvox, I guess, that makes these under the counter. Have you seen the under the counter TVs?
Yeah.
We used to do a ton of these back in the day. They would flip down. They were much smaller screens, but this has like Chromecast built in. It's got Google Assistant built in, Google TV. So that might be an option. And it's only a few $100s, like $299, I think.
Yeah, that's nice too, because for me, it's one of those things like I didn't want it to be in the way, right?
On the counter, yeah.
Yeah, and in the counter, like we have a relatively decent kitchen, especially for like counter space and stuff like that. But like the less stuff on my counter, the better. And so I like the idea of this, whatever device you choose, either being mounted on the wall or under the cabinet or something where it's not going to get in your way.
This is component video inputs.
Oh, perfect.
I know, right?
I mean, this company even makes red ones too. I mean, I need this red one, or maybe this oak one.
The wood grain one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the perfect Christmas gift, it says. They charge a pretty penny for that one, though. $3.39.
I'm pretty sure I've installed one of these exact ones before, though.
Really? Oh, okay. I was wondering what it sounded like.
Or something like that. I don't like it. Looked just like this though, with all the buttons and stuff. I'm like, why is there so many buttons on this?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking around. There's a couple of things out there like this.
But for $400, I would just get the Echo.
Exactly. Yeah. And there may be. I bet somebody's come up with this. I bet you somebody has come up with it. Under counter Echo Show 10 mount.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep, somebody already came out with that, so that exists too. So you can take the Echo Show and probably mount it up underneath your counter. Wait, no, that's something else. Well, there's our next idea, guys. We're gonna be rich.
EchoMounts.com.
Yeah.
Not taken.
Under Echo, what can we call this thing? I don't know. Gavin could 3D print them for us, and people have made cute little brackets that will have for the Echo Show 5. This is kind of cute, guys. I'll send this to you. That's not a TV though, right? The Echo Show 5, that's just a regular old Echo.
That's a little baby one.
Yeah. It's a little bracket that hangs out underneath the kitchen cabinet. So,
all right. For step 1, buy a $1,000 3D printer. Step 2, print whatever solution you want.
There's $1,000 for one 3D printer?
Oh yeah.
Well, sorry, if you're American.
Oh.
Spend $1,500 more on upgrades.
This is 100% 3D printed. You can tell because of the way it is.
I can tell by the pixels.
It is pretty cool. I mean, that's a good idea. This is what 3D printers are made for. So
we need
I
that
like this.
for the Echo Show 10, though, right? Or the 15 or whatever it is.
Yeah, could you imagine one of these for the 21?
Yeah, do that for the 21. It probably wouldn't go all the way back under, and doesn't really help. Like you clear the area, like you'd have to move everything out of the way to flip it back up. But it might work. Your mileage may vary. Where's my tab? Anyway, David, just let us know what you do. I think the Echo Show 10 is probably the way to go, though. All right, I think that's going to wrap up the mailbag. We got a bunch of HomeTech headlines, so what do you guys say we jump in?
Let's do it.
All right, Josh AI 2025 winter launch event. I was watching this while in California a little bit. I just kind of put it on in the background and let it play. I missed the event, so I didn't get to go play in the chat like I usually do. But I did put it on 2x speed and listen to all the updates they had. And the biggest thing is they didn't launch the remote, and they said it wasn't ready. That's kind of what I got of it. Like they had a remote, they thought it was going to come out, and it didn't. Unfortunately, they said it just wasn't ready, and I respect them for holding back on that because a lesser company would probably release the remote and then get a black eye over it almost. But Josh AI decided, hey, we don't want to release this thing because it doesn't work yet, and we'll release it when it works. And I respect that.
They could have worded it like how everyone else words it, though, and just say coming in fall. They didn't have to go into details about it's not working yet, it's not done yet. Just coming in fall.
I think they've been talking about that for a long time because I remember it came out last year that they wanted to do that, and then I want to say they were talking about it at CEDIA too. So these things happen when you're building, especially remotes. Remotes are very hard to do.
And this remote is a lot more than just your ordinary remote because it has customizable buttons. And when I say customizable buttons, the actual physical button you can buy customized with different symbols and stuff and replace them on the remote. Yeah, exactly. So
it's a waterproof remote too. So all that has to be considered.
It's a room remote. It's not just a TV remote. It's you can control your blinds, everything. It's made for basically everything in that room. Right, so you'll want multiple of them.
Well, it's a Josh control. It's got a microphone and speaker in it too.
Yeah,
so not bad. Gavin, you got a ton of notes on this. You were kind of taking updated UI, updated. I guess it's Lutron navigation. Is that what it is?
Well, basically, yeah. They updated the UI. Josh AI's UI is the really good looking UI. I like their app, and I've been modeling my Home Assistant dashboard kind of off it and adding little things. So I'm really impressed with their app. The design team, they did a great job with that, but they added a lot of integrations when you're looking at Lutron, Schlage, UNV for cameras, Samsung, et cetera, et cetera. They announced a lot. They even mentioned Weem in that, which was kind of cool.
Yeah,
to see
they're doing Weem
there.
integration. That's right.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. They announced we just had the remote, an updated Josh GPT 3.0. So the next evolution of their built-in AI. It's faster. It gives you more reliable answers.
Probably elevated.
Yeah, they elevated. They can actually let it see now. So this was really cool. When they have their panel in a room, they can ask it questions about the room. And
it's got a camera. I saw him do that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's very similar to the LLM Vision Home Assistant add-on because you could do the same thing in Home Assistant, right? And it's really cool what they do with it. So I like that. And they also tie it in with some real-time data like sports data. So that was pretty cool.
That was my favorite demo on the whole thing because they were going through and doing the demos of turn on lights and stuff. And one of the things that they're coming out here with the new AI features was that you could ask it a question about a song that you didn't quite know the title to.
Yes.
And he was like, give me a song about like New York. It was sometime, sung sometime in the 70s or 80s. And he was like, oh, that's Billy Joel, New York State of Mind. And then I was like, did they pay for the Billy Joel rights? And it just cut to the next scene. I'm like, oh.
You knew what they were doing.
They were not going to get banned from YouTube.
They introduced DoorLink for access control. They introduced Josh One, which is like an Apple TV size, I guess, brains to the home now. Like it's much smaller now. That was really cool to see. They've focused a lot on the new redesigned audio experience, the integration with audio. And you gave an example of it there, but even their app and stuff is really good looking when it comes to controlling audio. So there is some big announcements with it. If you're a Josh AI person, you have a lot coming.
I like one of the things I liked on there, like they have a concept of having little backgrounds on your app or whatever.
Yep.
And you could ask it to generate you AI generate you a background or something. That's really cool. I've always kind of like at a client's house with the Control 4, like you have the option of swapping out the background, but it was always like a pain to like, you could take a picture with your phone and it was like, it never looked good. It was like, well, they had good pictures of this room, which this room looks nice because I'm in a nice house, right? If I took a picture of this room with a nice camera, then I could put it on this touch screen and it would look really nice when you're using it on your phone, your app. Like it does look good. It looks way better if you have it on there. And it's always just the blue background because you can't take nice pictures without like lighting and all that stuff in it. So at least this way you could say, AI generate me, another blue background or a pink background to match this pink room I'm in or something like that. It would do it.
Yep.
Cool stuff. And looking forward to hopefully they'll have their remote out this year, hopefully. See, I could tell they were disappointed they didn't get to launch it at this event. So
yeah, you can feel how sad they were about that, but you can also feel the excitement around that remote.
Yeah, it sounds cool. It honestly does. All right. Well, let's move on. We've got some enshittification news here. I saw this, guys, and I was like, no, this can't be real. Roku is testing auto-playing ads that appear before the home screen on its smart TVs and streaming devices. And it's sparking a bunch of backlash from users. The video ads, which have been reported by multiple users, including one from the movie Moana 2, can be closed, but some users have also not found that option. Roku confirmed that the ads are part of a temporary test to explore new advertising methods, but did not comment on making them permanent. And everybody's kind of curious. Like, so you turn your Roku on before you get to the menu that you want to watch. You get an ad, full screen ad about Moana. Come on, it's awful.
My house would just be full of broken Rokus if that started to happen. I would that's not happening in my house. I don't care. I don't have. Well, actually, I do have one Roku TV, but I can easily replace that one. It knows it's not safe where it is.
Gavin's going all in on the HTPC.
Yes,
and I only had one for travel. I ended up swapping out for an Apple TV, which works infinitely better, but weighs about 100 times more. The Apple TVs are so heavy.
I agree with Gavin. I don't like ads. But I don't install like an ad blocker on my computer or anything like that. I'm not that like, I just don't go to the site if it's awful, right? But if I open up a service and it automatically starts playing ads, I close it immediately. I don't even try to like find out I muted or anything like that. It just automatically gets shut down. And if my TV started doing that, I would remove it instantly.
Yep.
Like I hate when like Netflix does it. Like when you're looking through, I don't know if Netflix still does this because we haven't had it in like a year now. But when you're just like looking for something, all of a sudden it starts playing like a little preview of whatever you're highlighted on without actually clicking on it.
Yes.
And it starts like showing you stuff, and I hate that so much.
I think it still does it, and you can turn it off, but you have to go to the web interface and go through like a menu tree to find the setting.
It is like the most irritating thing in the world.
Yeah. My wife hated it enough that she went through those steps. Like she's like, I'm going there. I'm turning it off. And she did it. So
see, we just got rid of Netflix. So that's how I solve my problems.
It's one way to do it. Well, I got to say, like I said, I have the Roku. It is a decent streaming device. I only use it for Plex and Apple TV when I'm on the road, but this little one, I have the little one. What is this thing? Oh, I never know. It's got black on black ink, so I can't really read it. But it's a tiny one. I bought it like for $30 at like Office Max or something on a whim, and it works for like about $30 worth. Like it's not that good. Plug the Apple TV in, boom, you can get everything up and going pretty quickly. Only problem is you still need that travel router to get on the hotel Wi-Fi, and after that, you're good to go. So let's move on here. This could be pretty cool. Amazon is launching a new premium line of Alexa devices under the Signature brand, aiming to compete with Apple by merging advanced technology with sophisticated design. It's led by Panos Panay, who joined Amazon in September 2023 from Microsoft. This initiative involves a complete transformation of Amazon's hardware, focusing on both internal components and external aesthetics. I don't know. It's a nice little rumor. It sounds like they're going to have some better audio, longer battery life, enhanced security features. It sounds like it's just going to be like you're going to get the plus there out of Alexa Plus. See what I did? They're going to have to up the hardware and make it work a little bit better. I don't know, Gavin. I honestly don't think the Amazon product line has ever looked bad. So I don't know what they're talking about there. Like, it's always looked pretty good to me. Gavin, what do you think? Would you buy one of these like high-end Signature editions?
I totally agree with you. I've never thought that their product would look bad at all, that I needed a Signature vision. Yeah. They could be probably coming with a better speaker maybe, but I also use my Sonos with everything with Alexa built in. So, I'm covered there when it comes to the audio and stuff. I mean, they could just buy Sonos and,
They could make they don't need to. They could just make their own Sonos, right?
Or just buy Sonos and then lock it in and then expand it from there. But
that would make their Sonos app significantly worse, I have to say.
That's true. Or it could make it better, like who knows?
No, it would be worse.
But yeah, I'd like to see what it is they're coming with. And I'm not like hyped to buy anything. Like, I'll only buy it if I think it's something nice or something I'll use, because I don't need another smart speaker around the house. I have enough as it is anyway.
What if it's signed by Jeff Bezos himself?
No.
Oh, yes.
No.
What if it's Andy? What's his name? Andy, what's the guy's name? Andy something. Andy Jassy.
What if Panos Panay delivered it himself to my house,
and set it up for me? Yes.
White gloves. You have to wear the white gloves. Yeah.
Then I'll buy two.
Honestly, this makes sense to me just because it feels like Sonos. It feels like Amazon has always Sonos
Freudian slip there. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like Amazon has started out by basically just trying to get cheap devices in everybody's hands, and to be honest, they probably haven't really made much. We know they haven't really made any money, and they actually lose money on Alexa, right? And so they're not making money there, but that they're selling these devices for little to no profit margin on it. And so the Signature line or the premium line, whatever they want to call it, gives them a chance to actually make some money on the hardware.
Yeah.
And I don't see people shying away from it depending on how much it costs and what the devices actually are. I actually think it's a really good idea, and it'll make Alexa devices not be, bottom of the barrel cheap devices that everybody thinks of them as, and it actually makes people want to spend money on them instead.
But you'll also have the two lines still. You're going to have the Signature line and the poor people line.
Right.
And I'm happy being in the poor people line, like I don't listen to music on my Echo Dot, for example, right? Like, I have a nice speaker in the room, so I just want it to hear nice.
It could be a little bit more than that too. Like, I'm thinking, what do they have? They had that Amazon always, like, we were talking about the Echo Show 10 earlier, right? It's a good value for the price, right? So Amazon is perceived right now as that value line. They even have like Amazon Basics, which is value-based priced product, right? So what if they have Amazon Signature now? Just like I'm going to get them a fight with Kirkland over Kirkland Signature, but what if they have the Signature line and it's all like higher end products with more margin built into them,
fancier fabrics on them?
Yeah, fancy batteries that last longer. Like what if they come out with something that's like, you got your Amazon Basics and then you got your Amazon Signatures?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. You can buy your Amazon Basic. There's Amazon Basic computer monitors. Do you guys know that?
Oh yeah,
they have everything under the Amazon Basic thing. So yeah,
hey, all you gotta do is find a white label service. You can slap your logo on anything,
and they do.
I was trying to get us to do it for those cock squeezers I brought to Cedia.
Oh yeah,
HomeTech cock squeezers.
I was going to say family show, but I remember what it is you were talking about now.
Was it TJ's Cock Squeezers.com?
I think
I'm pretty sure I have the domain. It goes somewhere. I have to go look the domain up, but
It's funny. The one I actually bought on Amazon, I think it has the words like HomeTech on it already. So we can just buy those and just sell those. Then we have a signature lineup that's gold.
Signature cock squeezers. Never that. Oh yeah, it is tjscocksqueezers.com. There we go.
That's the one you have?
Yeah. That one. It actually has a website up right now too.
Oh man.
So first to market. It just goes, I think, to our website somewhere.
Oh yeah, it's just a picture on top of my ladder. with my crotch in the background. That's
there we go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's hanging out there. It's just I could have photoshopped that little skin tone thing out in the middle, but I didn't. I left it there for your imagination.
It's hilarious. I have a really terrible memory, and I don't remember very much for unimportant things, but I know exactly where this photo was taken.
Yeah.
Well, what's that website again?
tjscocksqueezers.com. Make sure you spell the second word right, Kevin.
Oh, that's what I was spelling.
It's a different website altogether. I should probably get both of them just in case to be safe.
TJ's Cock Squeezer.
You don't want to lose any sales. All right. Moving on here. There's a couple of I got a couple of FUD stories of fear, uncertainty, doubt, stories floating around. And the only reason I put these in, I was going to dump them, but I think we got to just briefly mention them so that you, the listener, are educated what's going on. There are all sorts of stories right now floating around that Amazon is taking away the option of not sending your voice recordings up to the cloud, blah, 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 blah. And one, TJ, I think you said and discovered it's only 3 devices.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not really, nobody's probably using this anyway. So. Yeah.
And then second of all, I've seen stories, there's a story on Wired that's Amazon will be recording everything you say. And we're back to that nonsense again, where, if you're a professional in the audience, you know that you go to somebody's house and they say, oh, I don't want that in the house. It records everything you say. It hears you talking, blah, blah, blah. And we know they don't do that. They monetarily do not have enough money to record everything you say, record it, process it, whatever. It's cheaper now, but it's not that cheap. And they can't do it. You would see the outgoing traffic audio streams. If people look at this stuff, they would see it. What it has is a wake word. It wakes up when you say Alexa and it does its thing. And then it goes back to sleep. And if you never say that word, or conversely, if you never have this device in your house, Amazon doesn't record anything. So if you're that worried about it, just don't buy the device. But I just wanted to put that on the radar. That we'll put a couple links to these crazy stories in the show notes. I don't get it. I figured by 2025, everybody's smart enough to understand that they don't record anything you say, but evidently these guys still need some, clicks to come their way. So we'll give them some links and you can go over there and read those stories.
And I'm just going to tell you, if they're not listening to you, your phone's listening to you. There's so many things listening to you right now.
They don't even need to listen to you. That's the thing.
Wife is listening
I was
to
in
you.
Boston a couple weeks ago, and we were having a conversation about a TV show. And by the time I got back to my hotel room, it started showing up ads in my my timeline, right?
And because you were next to somebody else, and their phone, their IP address was associated with talking about that. They were looking it up.
They're going to get the information on you they need for you anyways. I'm in the camp now where it's just serve me good ads, Well,
that's the thing. This targeting stuff doesn't work. They target you with stuff you've already bought.
Yeah.
I don't know why they can continue to invest money in this because it just doesn't work. I don't.
I mean, at least listen out for, hey, honey, look at the new LG TV I just bought. And then take that off my ad list,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hey, honey, there's a new IP address of an LG TV and it's advertising on MDNS that it's an LG C4 that I just bought. It's going to give me another ad for the TV.
Yeah,
thanks a lot,
exactly.
Come on. And then another one, there was a huge story that went around about a huge backdoor in expressive chips around Bluetooth. And there's here's the headline, undocumented commands found in Bluetooth chip used by billions of devices. And while it's true, I have an expressive chip right here that I was messing with today. There are billions of devices. I look at my home, all of the Shelly devices run on Espressive. Tons of devices that you don't even know run on Espressive. And they're saying that they found a backdoor. Well, they didn't. It turned out to be a big nothing thing. And it was basically if you're a developer running the developer environment applications and hooked up to the thing, then you can find these backdoor commands that they use for development. And it's yeah, that's that's expected. That's what you're supposed to be able to do. And they don't have to document the commands to read and write that they use on the back end. They don't have to do that. So I don't know. It was a big nothing, and it got a bunch of clicks, and there's a follow-up story. So we'll put links to that in there. But just know you can go to sleep tonight knowing your espresso is safe. Big story, guys. Last week this dropped while I was in LA. And people over there, I tell you, people couldn't stop talking about it. Sonos has decided to cancel its planned streaming video player, codenamed Pinewood. Which I don't think I've heard the Pinewood until this story, but it's from The Verge, so it's definitely leaked out by somebody. Not Patrick Spence, like we thought, TJ. Maybe it still is. He's still there, I guess.
It's got to stay for several more months. So
several more months, yeah. So maybe he's just leaking stuff out.
He's like, no, don't kill my pet project.
Yeah, I'm going to leak this to The Verge. All right, so the decision was announced during an all-hands call by interim CDO Tom Conrad, TJ's IM buddy there, DM buddy. Over there, a Skeet buddy on Blue Sky.
right back, Tom. I haven't heard from you, Tom. Where'd you go?
His AI quit you. All right. They're going to cancel this Pinewood. It was in advanced stages of development and had been in beta testing for months, evidently. Its cancellation leaves Sonos without a major new product launch for the latter half of 2025. And I guess there was a bunch of people working on this. Everybody's kind of been shuffled around, moved back onto other projects, like, I don't know, making the app better. And then, they were going to go head to head with Roku, Apple, Amazon, Google, and offer this thing that had an HDMI switcher in it. A lot of information out of this article here. I don't know what to think about this, but guys, we before the show we wrote a song for it, so I'm not going to play it on the show tonight. But if you want to listen to it, you can head on over to the show notes there and listen to. Which one are we posting?
I haven't listened to it either. I was hoping to hear it on the show, but I guess I'll have to listen to it afterwards. No, that's fine. We can skip it for now.
I can't play it. I didn't download it and then load it back into the thing. Yeah, it's called Pinewood Forever. So it's an epic song. We'll put it in there. We have a couple versions. We have a Broadway musical, if you like that. If that's your thing, we have Death Metal version. So if you like that, you can listen to either one of them. AI can do everything. All right. News from iRobot. Lots of news. They launched a bunch of 8 new Roombas out there. Who knew? They finally got LiDAR mapping for iRobot. I thought they already had this years ago. I guess they didn't. But I've been using the fancy Chinese version ones that did. And I guess because they're so far behind everybody, they have issued a stark warning to their investors saying that it may face closure within the next year unless it can refinance its debt or secure a buyer. So they're struggling with a significant financial challenge. Recently spent $3.6 million to amend terms of a $200 million loan that they'd taken out in 2023 during the stalled acquisition deal with Amazon. So if anybody remembers that, Amazon was going to buy iRobot. That fell through from government approval. I think the government wouldn't let it go through. And when that falls through, you kind of have to pay money. So a lot of these, they have like a failure clause or something like that, and in a lot of these contracts. And if they fall through for any reason, like if you back out, the other company backs out, somebody's got to pay some money. So that must have been from that. But man, what a debacle! These guys have been. The robot vacuum. I probably the first one I had. I haven't had one in years though. But I think you guys or Gavin, don't you have a iRobot?
Yes, I have one. And when I used to think of iRobot as like the premium like robot vacuum, but all these other companies have quickly bypassed them by adding better features, better everything. So
yeah, I think that what was it? The DreamyBot one. Today started shipping. I think Jimmy put in the Slack channel, the hub. He put that the Roborock, the one with the arm that we saw, the OmniGrip mechanical arm was shipping. So
to be clear, that's not a feature that I'm thinking is an important feature to add in robot vacuums. An arm, okay,
just to grab random things.
I don't know. I told my wife about that, and she's like, I want that. Like all the little socks and little like hair clips and stuff that my daughter leaves laying around. If he could just move them out of the way.
Yeah, because nothing would ever get cleaned, right? I mean, it just like goes around it, and then it's like, all right, well.
Well, the current one just runs over it and then gets stuck, and then it cries from like, it sends you a text message like, I'm stuck. Come flip me over. And like, if it had an arm, it could just pick it up, move it out of the way. They need to do is come up with one that it's that's got an arm. It's got 2 arms, and it could turn the socks back, right side out because I don't know. My daughter has not figured out how to take her socks off without them being inside out. It's amazing. 8 years old.
Is that a skill? Is that a skill that people have? Because I don't have that skill either.
It's like I just take my socks off and they're already the way they should be.
Oh no! See, I take mine off from the top and then I just like pull them off.
That must be what she does.
Yeah,
Every one of them.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time reversing my socks as well too. So
yeah, me too. I always do it before I wash my
laundry. 3 against 1,
now,
Seth, so you're the minority here.
Yeah.
No, just I am advocating for robot AI. Make AI turn the socks around. No, stop making it do things like kill us. Like we don't need it in defense. We don't need it in the killing machine things. No.
Well, let's solve the problem once and for all. Why don't we just have reversible socks?
There you go. Make AI do that. I'm sure it could figure out how to do it.
Yeah. Why do we have an inside of a sock and an outside sock? Why isn't it just a reversible sock?
It made us a death metal song about Sonos.
What robot vacuums are you buying, Seth, where you have to worry about them killing you?
All of them.
No. I'm just talking about in general. They're like, hey, we should make AI figure out how it can kill more people.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, let's make it do your laundry better. Like, let's make it fold shirts, around. Stuff like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, like Boston Dynamics, put those robot dogs to good use, like.
Yeah.
You could just like hop around your house and it finds a sock and it like folds it inside out and tosses it in the laundry basket. That'd be great. That's all I need.
Or we just dump a laundry basket out there and it automatically folds the socks and bunches them together and all that stuff. Like, why aren't we investing in robots like that?
They're not. They want them to kill us. Like that's I'm pretty sure that's all they're like. The money is in killing, I guess, because they're like, here's the robot AI thing from, we're going to give you the nuclear codes. We'll do that. Done. What else do you need? Oh, you need to like hoover up all this data about people and know where they live and know their like traffic patterns and stuff. Done. Yeah. Anyway. All right. And then we've got there's a number of stories about iRobot on there. So we'll put all those in the show notes. But they have a bunch of new products out. 8 new robot vacuums. So go check those out.
That's a lot.
Yeah. All right. So graveyard here. Google has killed something again. It's amazing. After 9 years, Google is officially ditching Assistant for Gemini. Google has announced the discontinuation of its Assistant in favor of this new AI platform, Gemini, marking the end of a 9-year run for the virtual assistant. Gemini is designed to be more advanced and an integrated AI solution, promising enhanced capabilities over its predecessor. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you get elevated. You get elevated out of a job, your assistant, you're done. So, I don't know. Is it? I guess I probably should go look and see if this is on Killed by Google yet. KilledByGoogle.com. Man, there's so much on here.
It is not on there right now.
I don't think it's actually killed yet. It's probably just being talked about.
It's just promised. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, Google Assistant is one of the best voice assistants out there. I don't really use my Google Home speakers anymore, but ever since I switched to the iPhone, like using Siri is the most infuriating thing because I've used Google Assistant in the past, and Google Assistant's so much better. So I don't know. This will be an interesting change, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's just got AI in it. Now with AI,
it's got AI. There we go.
They could have just kept it, the typical Google thing though, right? It's like they have a new thing out, and it's like, well, we have this thing already that exists. Why don't we just put it into that? And it's like, no, let's just create a whole new thing and call it a whole new thing and then literally do no advertising behind it.
Yeah.
Unlike this, though, they've actually done advertising with Gemini, so people actually know what it is, but that's traditionally the Google playbook is let's release this new product that replaces an existing product and then don't tell anybody.
Well, there you are. Goodbye, Google Assistant. Hello, Gemini. All right, and then there's a warning out there if you got an older Chromecast or Chromecast audio device out there. There was a big outage due to an expired security certificate. Lapse occurred on March 9th, and it causes devices to display an untrusted device error. Google is like, hey, this is a thing we're working on a fix for it, but please do not factory reset because that's going to break everything. So there's a temporary workaround that somebody came out with, and this happens from time to time. When these older devices have a security certificate that expires on them, they can't phone home anymore because they need to talk securely to the home base, and the certificate for the home base has changed because the date the date is expired. So sometimes you can roll if you can figure out how to, you can change the time on your device and roll it back. I've seen that happen. You can change the device time and say, oh no, it's not 2025, it's 2023. And then you can fix it real fast. But I don't know. We'll see what they do with this. But if you got one of these older devices and it's saying it's untrusted, don't factory reset it. Google says don't do it. So then it'll be headed towards the graveyard if you do. All right, IKEA, new product from IKEA. They've registered their first Thread device with the FCC. It's a temperature and humidity sensor named the Timmerflotl. I give up. Timmerflot?
Give up. Don't even try.
It supports, guess what, guys? It supports the Matter protocol. So IKEA is officially going to Matter here. The circular device is powered by 2 AAA batteries, includes a QR code, 11-digit number for Matter setup. And unlike IKEA's typical use of Zigbee or Wi-Fi, the Timmerflot exclusively uses the Thread protocol. So this is going to be an interesting change. I think this is good. I think this is good for both. I think this is a good sign for Matter because IKEA has a really good reputation. They don't release something that's going to give you a problem. They have really good, they have a high reputation when it comes to the quality of their products that they sell.
Yeah, their products that they release are 1, simple to set up and use, and 2, just work. So this is a good look for Matter.
Yeah, and somebody was pointing out, I didn't catch this on the first look, but it actually does have a Celsius and Fahrenheit switch on the bottom of it, underneath next to the battery tray, and that probably indicates that it actually has the display on it.
Oh,
so cool. we don't know that for sure yet, but that's probably what that means.
Yeah, we're just seeing the bottom, the sticker of it. That's all we get to see right now. So
I got the Matter code so I can hack it.
You're a Matter hacker. All right, and we got a couple of new products here from Unify. They've got a new Pro XG lineup. It's their latest innovation in the professional networking space. They've got the U7 Pro XG access point. It's got a new design. It's kind of that flat circular design. I don't know how to describe it.
It's like a TP-Link Omada access point. If you've seen those around, they look basically the same thing.
Unify always looked like a flat dome, and now it's more of a flat surface instead of a dome, and it's kind of got hard edges on it now. It says it's 30% cooler. It's got more surface area for cooling compared to the U7 Pro, and this offers 3 gigabits per second client performance. That's pretty good, I guess. And it's got 10 gig Ethernet inputs on it, so if you need this, you probably know. Gavin, didn't you just upgrade all your Unify stuff? Too late for this, right? So
too late for this, but I'll get into that in the project side. But yeah, these are hotter. Yes.
I actually ordered the U7 Pro XG because my U7 Pro Max it's had issues.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to replace it with this XG and pawn this off on somebody else.
Oh, I didn't realize they had a bunch of switches too. So that's
yeah.
So
all with ether lighting.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. I wish somebody had come up with that years ago, and that was a standard thing. It's that's kind of a smart idea. Good job, guys. The Pro XG 8 PoE is a device I wish they had come out with years ago. I don't know how much it can cost though. They used to sell one about the same size. It was like a PoE 8-port PoE switch that was really nice to use and solved a lot of problems. And they kind of went out of style for a while, and they've been doing the little plastic ones. And now this one maybe got them in plastic, but it looks about the same size as a better looking one. So, bunch of new switches, bunch of new XG devices. Go check them out if you're in the Ubiquiti ecosystem and you need all this crazy stuff. They got it for you. So, and then we got a new Sony TV thing that's coming out. I guess we probably should talk about this at the top of the show when I was talking about. See, now I can't buy the TV because they come out with this new one, right? Is that how it works? Sony's introduced a groundbreaking RGB LED display technology aimed at high-end TVs, home theaters, and film production. The system allows red, green, and blue LEDs to emit light independently, significantly enhancing color purity and enabling a wider color gamut. Collaborations with MediaTek, Rome, and Sanan, my contact just went sideways, Sanan Optoelectronics have been crucial in developing the display's control processors, LED drive IC, and LED components, respectively. Unlike traditional LEDs that use white diodes and color filters, Sony's RGB LEDs produce colors directly at the panel source, allowing more precise brightness adjustments and detailed lighting gradations. This sounds like it is going to cost a hell of a lot of money. I'm sorry. All of that, Sony makes the consumer TVs, but like up in the higher end of range, they're making like the film editors TVs. 4,000 nits on this thing, 96-bit high-speed signal processing. This is going to be an expensive TV, I think.
Usually they come out with a expensive version of it, but the features will trickle down, right? Over time. Yeah. So this is just the beginning.
Buy it, Seth. Buy it.
I'll get this and then, I'll get the OLED.
Just don't get the ARC with it, but get this.
You just have to go with a beam then, unfortunately.
Yeah. We'll put a link to the article here over at CPRO, and then they also link out to the Sony press release, which goes into all the stuff they can do with this thing. So I bet you when this is like a new panel technology. I wonder what they're going to call it. All right. All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over in our show notes at HomeTech.fm/520. All right, no pick of the week. So let's just move on into project updates. And first thing, a big announcement from Home Assistant. They actually matter. They actually matter now. Home Assistant officially matters. We'll link over to the blog post for them. They have Matter in Home Assistant has officially been certified. So there you go. CSA is given a certificate of appreciation over to Home Assistant, I guess. And they've got a certification now, so you can put like a logo on their website.
Yeah, that's big news. But I always looked at Home Assistant as one of the best places to test the latest in Matter stuff, right? Because they always had the updated Matter versions, even though it always said beta on it. It still worked to a point. So I was just surprised it took them this long.
Let's see. It says, first and foremost, from a usability perspective, nothing will change for you. So I guess, it's not going to change the fact that it always says beta. Maybe it won't say beta now. Maybe it'll just like, they can use the Matter logo or something. I don't know. But yeah. It'll come with let's see, it says, from now on, anything that has the Matter spec will work perfectly with Home Assistant, and it'll come with a certification badge. So yeah, it's a badge. You get a gold star. So I think it's good though. Like you said, Gavin, it helps people test and bring these devices online, really put them through the hoops before all this hits like prime time. People just get tired of talking about Matter. I don't know.
It doesn't explain why my Eve Matter plug keeps dropping off randomly anyway. So, I mean, it doesn't work perfectly.
I had a problem with mine, and I realized it was probably my fault. As usual, I moved my Apple, the Home, what's it called? The HomePod Mini, the little HomePod Mini. That's my Matter bridge. I kind of forgot. I had it hanging out in the garage here for a while, and I guess something's changed. Signals have changed. I don't know. RF somewhere changed along the way, and we weren't getting a little notification from my daughter's door opening and closing when she was getting up, and I just unplugged it. I never use it in the garage. It just sits in here and wakes up randomly when I accidentally say something. It thinks I'm talking to it. And I just moved it into the guest bedroom over there, closer to the room, and it works fine. So, yay, my one Matter device works. And that concludes my projects for the week. I guess I can jump into that because I have a pretty good project for you guys to do. You can try this out. Just leave your house for the week and see what breaks. That's it. Just have your wife stay home and just see what breaks. Water will turn off. She can't go back outside and turn the water on. Just see what breaks, guys. This stress test. I'm calling it the smart home stress test, and I'm going to trademark that. And if you just leave home for a week, and see what happens.
It's actually funny that you said that, because when I left home on my business trip recently for a week, I thought everything was going smoothly, but one of the drives to my Unraid server died.
Start getting nervous.
But, well, yeah, it was running in emulated mode, so everything was still running, right? Because it was emulated off the parity drive and everything like that. But you're still sitting there like, if one more drive fails, I lose everything.
There's no protection.
And I'm not near home, and everything goes down. So yeah, things happen. Never leave home.
My wife called me 3 a.m, said, "Hey, the water's off." And I'm like, "Why?"
Why are you telling me you're at home?
Well, that's the big question. There is like, why is the water off? What was the reason?
The reason's because I left home, Gavin. Oh. That's why the water went off.
Okay.
I honestly, this one I don't know why. I was like, "Hey, can you?" No, I got nothing. I can't troubleshoot a water thing. So what I figured out was that my sprinkler is actually hooked up down at the meter before my water is in the house. So I turned on the sprinklers. I was like, "All right, can you go to the front door and see if you hear the sprinklers out there?" And she heard the sprinklers. I'm like, "Okay, the water's definitely turned off in the house." She's like, "Thanks, I know that." I'm like, "I'm glad I can help."
Troubleshooting.
Yeah. The next step is there's a valve thing on the side of the house, and you just got to go out there, and you're just going to have to like turn it. And it's kind of hard, and it's in the dark. And she's like, "I'm not doing this." I'm like, "Okay." So I don't know why it decided to turn off. The flow meter decided to turn off. But it did. And I went and logged in. I logged into the app. The app wouldn't let me log in, and I'm like half asleep trying to like fumble and press the buttons.
Oh, it's your flow thing that turned off the water on you.
Yeah. Like there was a leak or something.
Okay.
Yeah. It turned off at like 11:30 at night, and she of course called me at like 3 a.m. or something when the water wasn't working. So I was like, I'm asleep, tired, jet lagged, and not making sense talking to her. So trying to troubleshoot under those conditions. Yeah, just leave home, guys. It's a great stress test. It stresses so much more than your home technology. You can check your relationships out. You can see all sorts of stuff.
You're making me nervous now. I don't want to leave my house.
Gavin's never going to leave again.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, that was. I think that was just one of the things. I'm probably forgetting more things that died and stopped working while I was gone. But that was the big one this time. Every time I leave the house, something stops working. And usually it's the air conditioner, and it's summer. But this time it's nice and cool in the winter, so the air conditioner, it's not going to act up. But the water decided to turn off, and I ended up finding that the app had an update. Like I couldn't log in for something on the app. I updated the app, which it normally does like automatically, but for whatever reason it hadn't decided to update yet. I updated it and was able to log in. So there must have had something goofy going on in their servers. And then I saw that it was saying that I turned off the water at 11:59, which I did not do. So I turned it back on. She had water. All is well with the world. So yeah, just my idea, guys. Just leave home. See what happens. Everything's working when you leave. I mean, it's working perfectly. You've got all this like remote access and everything. Because what you can't do, you can't turn the water valve. Anyway, that was my fun this week, Kevin.
You need a Zeus Titan water valve.
I mean, I thought by like having the water valve on there is like I'm protecting the house. One, like if somebody just leaves the water running, it turns off, right? But like if ever there's a problem, I'll just be able to turn the water back on, right? No. You can't log into the stupid thing to turn it back on. Oh man. Yeah. That was a fun phone call. Anyway, Gavin, I'm sure you had some fun phone calls this week. What have you been up to? Looks like you've did quite a bit.
I'm just happy I didn't have any water issues like you did. Like, well, that sounds like
no water issues. I don't know why it turned off.
Yeah, and
no
that's
idea.
One of the fears when I always wanted to put a water thing on there, but I didn't want to be stuck in that situation, right? But
yeah.
Some of the things I've been playing with, we haven't been here.
I'm just gonna unplug everything in my smart home next time. I'm just gonna, like, all that little extra stuff. I'm just gonna unplug it, and then, like I'm gonna put a TV in. I'm gonna Apple TV. I'm gonna hook it up right to the TV.
Yeah,
it's like nothing will go wrong.
Something will go wrong. Don't worry.
Probably the Wi-Fi or something.
Speaking of Wi-Fi, I upgraded my Wi-Fi over the last couple of weeks. So I had really old Unify access points, so I upgraded them all to Wi-Fi. What are they? The U6s.
Did you have the green access points? Is that how old they were? Like the green light on them?
No, it wasn't that old. They were all
25-volt
Wi-Fi
power.
4, Wi-Fi 5, I think, if anything.
Ew.
So I went with the U6 line. I didn't go to U7 because I hear you complaining about it a lot, and I didn't want to risk that. But I also had one U6, so it was less devices to buy, so I just ended up having to buy 3, and it was a simple upgrade. This is what I like about Unify is, for the most part, if you're buying like the same form factor, I found they just fit. It was a matter of just unplugging the old one and putting the new one in and readopting it, and it was a really easy upgrade. And then bam, I'm now on better Wi-Fi. So that was like a half-hour upgrade, if anything, for my house. So it felt really nice. So now I got better Wi-Fi. I did make some tweaks though. And I know we talked about this before. I have my, the Wi-Fi channel, I have it set to auto, but I also, reduced the broadcast power, right? Because I found they were, conflicting with each other. I was getting a lot of interference. So by doing this, I'm getting much better Wi-Fi. And it's just been running great. None of my devices have been dropping off. Everything's been online. I haven't been having any of the problems I've been having before with my cameras and stuff like that. So I am now Wi-Fi happy, So it was a good recommendation. Go into 6.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm glad you've made it. You've made it, man.
Well, for now, and then they just released some new Wi-Fi equipment. I want to upgrade again. So
Then you'll be stuck in the upgrade cycle like I am. Like, oh well, this access point doesn't work well. So let me go ahead and buy a new one. Maybe that'll work better.
No, they're all working really nice now. I walked around the house with the Wi-Fi Man app. I looked at my RSSI values and stuff like that. I made a little tweak to the RSSI, where it kicks you off if you're below a certain amount, so forcing you to roam to the other one and stuff like that. But now I find, because I've done that, certain devices will pick the right access point.
Yep.
Sometimes my devices were picking an access point all the way across the house, but now they're picking the closer one because it's got a better value, et cetera, et cetera. So, this is stuff I didn't know before, but I've been watching like videos and reading articles and support things about, Wi-Fi and settings and stuff to improve it. And this stuff made sense, and it wasn't very difficult to do, and it made a big difference. So much happier now.
The only thing we're going to disagree on is the auto channel thing. Yeah. I feel like you're playing Russian roulette with that, but I'm going to let you learn that lesson.
YOLO, Gavin. Do it. Auto.
Yeah, YOLO. I also find with the auto though, it depends on time of day what interference you have, because certain times of the day I'll see like somebody's Audi with 5 signals broadcasting in the neighborhood, right? And then they go to work, and then my Wi-Fi is less interference again, right? I don't know who owns that Audi. I'm gonna have to find them. Actually, I think it's the neighbor 2 houses down. But I'm gonna put a jammer on that car. Because it's showing up in my house. But yeah, I know what you mean about the auto. Ever since I put all my Sonos, again, they're all wired now. That's just less interference I have with them. They've been working so much better, right? So I'm gonna see. For now, the auto's been working great. I get notifications when it changes channels, and it's not like I'm arguing with it not to. I'm just like, let's see what happens, right? And it works fine. It's been working great. So we'll see how it goes. It's all Wi-Fi 6, not Wi-Fi 7. I know we talked about it, and Wi-Fi 7's new. It's not as, what'd you say, as mature maybe as Wi-Fi 6 is. So we'll see.
I just don't see a compelling need for it anytime soon.
It had the 6 with the Wi-Fi 7. It had the 6 gigahertz range. I think it also utilized if you have devices that use that. And they recently released an upgrade that does what do they call it? MLO, or is it MLO? U7 MLO.
Sounds like a band in the 90s.
Yeah. They just released a new feature called MLO with a firmware upgrade, which is multi-link operation. But again, the devices have to be able to utilize this where they can utilize multiple bands at the same time, right? So a lot of people are excited about this, but I mean, if I have nothing in my house, I have devices in my house still struggling. I have to put them on 2.4 gigahertz networks because they can't even handle anything else, right? So I'm good with the Wi-Fi 6 for now. I'm getting no complaints in the house and nothing's dropping off. So that was one of my happy projects, so to say.
Little quick follow-up. I was talking about LFO.
Oh, yeah. LFO was another group. Yep.
Yeah, they were in the 90s. And then I'm trying to find it now, but I found a YouTube video of somebody who mounted, this is from earlier in the show, mounted an Echo Show 15 underneath the cabinets. I think these cabinet mounts are out there.
Back to me, Seth. Back to me.
There we go. Back to it.
I think I mentioned the Unify Protect archiving. We talked about it before. I was playing around with it this week just to understand what it is and what it doesn't do. So basically, you could set it up so it archives all the detection videos to your NAS at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? So it is kind of cool, but it doesn't do things like if you have your camera set up for 27 recording, it's not going to archive any of that. It's only the notification clips that it will archive over. So it does make sense.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, why do you want all that? But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. So if you're looking to do that, I think they still said it's like a beta feature, but it works. I mean, it was archiving stuff over.
Since it's only doing that, you might want to go like the defaults on the like pre and post record on the events is pretty low, if I remember correctly. On those, like some is like 2 seconds before,
2 seconds,
3 seconds
and 5
after.
seconds. Yeah.
You may want to go tweak those if you're doing that, so you get a little bit more pre and post. But
you don't need to.
I get at least a few weeks out of just the live 24 video itself, and then if it's able to archive all the events off somewhere else and up to a point, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like having 24/7 footage too for like a month or so, just because when something happens and it wasn't caught as an event, you can scroll back. Like I remember like something happened in the street, but I don't watch events in the street. But when I was recording 24/7, I could still go back to try and see what happened in the street because it's in the background of the video, right? But you work with what you have. One thing I was having issues with in Home Assistant, let's talk about Home Assistant for a bit, but the February update to Home Assistant, for some reason, for a number of people, was discovering their Z-Wave stick again and creating duplicates of it in the integration, right? Ooh. And that was one of the things I was fighting with. I didn't even realize this happened to me. So I discovered, like, I started having all sorts of Z-Wave issues. It was like having issues sending commands. It was like the network was getting flooded. Well, what was happening, I found when I was doing some traces and stuff, is commands were getting sent twice. So when an event happened, and I say open or turn on these lights or whatever, it was sending multiple commands. So I eventually found out that I'd duplicate to my Z-Wave hub in Home Assistant under the Z-Wave integration. And this I'm using the Z-Wave JS integration, right? Not the built-in one, right? So after, cleaning it up and getting rid of the duplicate, my events went down just to single events again. Everything's been working beautifully since. So I just want to mention it. If anyone has issues with things not happening or stuff, check to see if you had that duplicate Z-Wave hub in there too. It was introduced in the February update.
You should have kept that. We could have beat the Z-Wave long range devices supported and gotten the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh yeah, then I would have had no.
The most.
Yeah, it duplicated all my devices. So I ended up just deleting. Yeah, it wasn't as bad to clean it up afterwards. I used the Seth approach and just said YOLO as I hit delete, and
auto.
It kind of just worked out. I got lucky, so it's all fixed now, working great. And then finally, the other project I've been working on is I was supposed to get my panel upgraded this week, but that got canceled. But, in preparation for that, I was doing a bunch of rack upgrades. So I added in my 16-bay disk array now, which is a really nice one because I can actually share it between multiple servers. So I have it split between 2 servers, 8 disks for each server. And
which one did you get, by the way?
It's the Net Store. It's a net store. I don't even know where they're sold.
Well, netstoredirect.com, it looks like.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of, are they stored? Do they sell them in the States? Because the one I ordered from a guy in the UK.
Oh, I don't know. This is
it's all in euros.
The price is in euros. Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, so I got a 16 bay one. Works. I really like the net store stuff. It's just it just exposes a bunch of discs, JBOD, and then Unraid takes it from there. It just works. It's simple. One cable, SAS cable. I really like it. Right.
And these are like directly connected at that point. Yeah, with SAS. Yeah. Oh, cool. Very cool. So you have just a ton of space now.
Yeah, so like it's got 4 connections on it. So each of my servers have like a dual card in it. So I put 2 connections to one server, 2 connections to the other server, and then I could just put the drives in and then, the servers share it. So it works really nice, low power usage, very quiet. I'm happy with that. That was one of the upgrades I did. The other thing I did, I picked up a console, one of those slide out consoles with the keyboard and monitor and everything. So, I can work with my servers. It's kind of, the rack's coming along. I still have a couple pieces I'm waiting in the mail for now, and I need some patch cables and stuff. But that, I have no, I'm glad I don't do this for a living because I have no patience with this stuff, right? Like I tear apart the rack. Like I probably spent a good 8+ hours doing this thing on Tuesday. I tore apart everything in the rack, emptied it all out, said, all right, fresh rack. Gonna start putting this stuff in and the cables are gonna look beautiful. Nah, when I put everything back in, it was just a jumbled mess behind. And all I ended up doing was just hiding the cables. I try and wrap them. I try and run them. I can't do it. I don't have the skill for it. I mean, I know part of the skill is having the right length cables. I never seem to have the right length. They're always too long, or too short or something. So I gave up trying. My goal is to make the front look pretty for the pictures. No one has to see around the sides or the back. I don't know how you rack guys do it. It's a skill. That's all I say. It's a skill. It's an art.
It's a lot better when somebody's paying you to do it as well.
Yeah.
When it's your own stuff, it's like, oh, I'll make this look decent enough. But when somebody's paying you by the hour, it's like, well, I'm going to take my time and make this look beautiful.
Yeah.
But that is also why whenever you see pictures of people's racks, they don't have wires installed yet, because when you add the wires, it gets messy.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
You said Nest Store. I was on Net Store. Yeah, Nest Store. I see it. They're Taiwanese. Okay, I'm trying to find your JBOD thing. Okay, I would say my racks come out great at the house. And then I go in there and monkey around later on and mess it all up. So
it's all about, for me at this point, it's functionality, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I can make it look pretty, but as soon as I have to touch anything, it's going to make it all look like crap anyway. So I might as well go for function over form.
And that's the other issue I have is I'm always in there monkeying around. So the one thing I did this time was just work on the cabling a bit. So when I want to add something and remove something, I don't have to go in and mess around with cable. I have patch panels on the back. I have patch panels on the front. I also made the cables coming from the house. I wrapped those up and made that part at least look pretty going to the rack, so it's not just a bunch of cables hanging there. But the one thing I was surprised, going around to this again, but, when I pulled out the rack to start this job, there were no spiders around the rack, because of the mint. I'm telling you, that mint spray, oh man, like the peppermint spray, it fights off those spiders. There were no spiders around my rack at all. That's all I'm saying about that, because I know people laugh at this and stuff, but trust me, in my basement, I had a lot of spiders bungeeing down onto my rack and leaving cobwebs everywhere. And no, after I used the peppermint spray, they haven't come close to it at all. I'm a happy guy.
Are they just lurking in the corners? They're like, I used to have a nice warm sleeping spot.
and that's fine. They could stay in the corner all they want, because they sit in that corner with the rack studs that I've dropped and also rolled into that corner. There's no way I'm getting that rack stud. I'm spider free down there. But that sums up my projects pretty much. This week, well, by the time you hit this show, it will already have been published, but I'll be on Home Gadgets Geeks. So make sure you go check out that podcast too.
Very nice, very nice. Oh yeah, I'm finding basically this Nest Store thing, the only place to buy it is eBay.
Yeah, the only place I have a 4-bay one, and I got it from a guy in the UK as well, and it worked really good. Yeah. I just wanted more drives, so I ended up getting the 16 bay version of it, and again, it just works really good. It's quiet. I don't know what really more to say about it. It does what I expect a drive bay to do. It's not a QNAP. It doesn't have an operating system on it. It doesn't have anything on it.
Yeah, I want that. I got that already.
Exactly.
I need bigger drives. I need to plug them into this thing. Yeah.
Exactly. All it does is just expose the drives as individual drives to your server. And it works great. And it does 6 gigabit connections or 12 gigabit connections? I can't remember. But it's pretty fast.
Well, the only ones I can find are actually Thunderbolt connections. So I don't think that's what you have. I know it's not what you have.
Check the link I sent you. But like I said, I don't know where to get I don't know where they sell these. Like, I don't think it's in North America at all.
Taiwan, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've always ended up ordering them from the UK. It's the only place I got from.
Yeah, really cool product.
Yeah.
And man, they get bigger.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's 24 bay. Yeah.
24 bay.
Yeah.
48 bay. Holy. That's insane, Gavin. There's a 48 bay. And it's one of those, it's like, forget about like taking the drives out. Like it's like a chassis.
Yeah.
That you take apart and you put everything inside of it. And then
but that one you can slide out and then they pop out. They're hot swappable up. Like they still have locks on it and stuff too, right? Yeah.
It's on the top. Yeah, man, that's really cool. Let's see. Can you hear this thing? Like, is it loud?
No, like the thing is my server is louder than this thing. Like when I turn it on, it's only the one I have only has how many fans does it have in it?
It looks like they've got like 2 or 3 big fans on the front, right? And then, but it looks like it also some of these have like the IT power supplies on the back. So I was wondering if those, like when they crank up, they're super loud or something, but maybe not.
No, it does fan management. Based on temperature. So at this point, I'm only running 4 drives in it. So it's probably not getting hot enough to really make any noise, but I can barely hear it when I turn it on.
Nice. Well, that's cool. You found something here. This is cool. I like these.
And I'm sure once I'm done the rack, I'll post a picture up on Mastodon, which reminds me, sign up for Mastodon. HomeTech.social. That's our Mastodon server.
Gavin will approve you.
I approve everybody, including the bots.
I caught one that said it was in a language I didn't know what it was. I just hit translate. And it said, "I'm a truck driver." I'm like, no. It's like, I know Gavin. If I'm not quick enough, Gavin's going to approve this one. I was like, no.
I was looking for that today to approve it, and I saw it was deleted. So I knew you took care of it. But I did the same thing. It said, "I'm a truck driver." And I was like, let me approve it before Seth gets to this.
Pressure.
So that wraps up my projects for this week. TJ, what are you up to?
I've got nothing this week. I'm working on the den. The den is it got drywalled this past weekend, and this coming weekend it's going to get painted. So that's the only thing I have going on. I'm working on the garden, getting all that stuff ready and everything. But
the room's looking good. You've been posting pictures in the hub, and the room it looks really nice. That's like. You say that's the room that you guys are always in. That totally, I could see that. Like, that's going to be a fun room to chill in. It's got all the windows in it, so you can like look around, see what's going on in your backyard. It's nice.
Yeah, got like 8 windows in there, so it's nice to kind of just hang out, especially in the wintertime. I like to have my coffee in the morning out there. It's nice and chilly. Got my robe on and everything like that. So it's a pretty nice place to hang out. I'm pretty excited to have it finished. I'm actually looking for flooring suggestions. If anybody has some good water resistant, I know waterproof isn't really a thing, but water resistant flooring options. I was thinking about right now, it's either going to be tile or some kind of LVP. And I'm leaning towards LVP just because it's easier for me to install, but I think tile will be the best option. So I'm kind of curious what other people think about that.
I'd prefer tile. We got tile throughout our entire house when we moved in. And it's like, it's either that, like here, the house has had that, what is it called? Terrazzo floors, or you had like carpet and there's not much in between. And sometimes you get carpet and you have terrazzo underneath it, but not here. So we ended up just tiling everything. And I don't know, like, seems to work out. The floor can be a little cold sometimes, but
yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about, because I like to hang out there in the wintertime and it already needs help getting heated and everything like that. And it feels like tile is just going to be so much more cold.
What does it take to like the little floor heating things? I don't know what it is, because I never actually needed one, but like, isn't it like just a wire they run under there? Can't you just run the wire? Can you pre-wire?
Yeah, so that's probably what we're gonna do if we end up doing the tile. Is it's the radiant heat flooring. They have a lot of different options of it. The simplest one is basically just a wire that goes underneath. The problem though is that you really want the 240 volt version because it's more energy efficient. And if you're not careful with it, you can waste a ton of electricity heating it up and everything like that.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that.
So that's the only thing. It's like, don't know if I really want to bother with that because my dumb self would probably just like leave it on for like a week straight, and then my electric bill would be like $800.
No, that's what we have. That's what we have home automation, Home Assistant for.
That's right.
Yeah,
because Home Assistant never
messes up.
issues.
Yeah, your water stays on all the time. Yeah, it's brilliant. So,
but no, that's what I was looking at. But adding heated floors, even to that room, it's only 160 square feet. It adds like $700 just for the heated floor.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if I want to do that either.
Besides the electrical, what's the other
There's
option?
water.
I mean, I see like people
They
run
have a
pipes.
There's water
20 volt.
heating too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have a water heat pump one. And then I think they have another option I can't think of right now. Definitely not installing the water one because it's an exterior room and it gets like freezing sometimes. So not going to deal with that mess. So it has to be the wire option. So I'm looking at options. I'm going to look at some Facebook Marketplace deals and stuff like that. If somebody has some extra Detra wiring and membranes and stuff like that. So if I can score it on the cheap and get it installed, I'll probably do that just because heated floors would be nice.
Yeah.
It looks like this. Like you can just there's like mats that are already like pre-wired, and you can just roll them out.
Yeah, that's the cheap version. You know.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm looking at, man. We don't need the heat.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. It's like, well, the heating is cool, right? But like, they should make an option that cools down as well. Like in the summertime, I want to have my feet cool.
Yeah, like the car seats.
But I don't see that option.
My wife is like, you got to get the car with the car seat heat. I'm like, I don't use that. You're the only one that uses it. And then I'm like, I want the car that cools. They have the car seats that cool you off and blow air through there. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I need.
Yeah, built into the seat. Yeah.
Those are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution to your flooring issue is, but I gave you a bunch of tips of things like I would avoid all the mistakes I made when choosing my flooring. So, especially since you have a dog, just things to consider.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, right? It's the room that we go out of, half a dozen times a day to let the dog out. It's going to get water on it. It's going to get dirt on it. It's going to get all this stuff. And right now we have carpet, and definitely not putting carpet back in there.
Yeah. Man, tough choice. I would lean towards tile just because it's low maintenance, and like if you spill something on it or the dog tracks in something, you can wipe it off. You can take a steamer thing, the steamer mops, and just go right over it. You're done. You don't have to worry about it scratching, all that good stuff. So I don't know. It's a tough choice. If you have suggestions for TJ, feedback at HomeTech.fm. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know. Help TJ get some floors, y'all.
That's right. I don't have any floors. No floors for me.
TJ needs a floor. I'm going to go register a website now. What are those called? The GoFundMe? Yeah, just make a GoFundMe for TJ. So.
Yes, I'll take that. That way I can get heated floors.
TJ needs heated floors. We're trying to raise $500 or $700 for TJ's non-cheap heated floors. He doesn't want the cheap bats. He's not doing that.
Heck no.
Don't even suggest it.
We're going to do Detra if I'm going to do it.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up everything this week. Unless you got more stuff. You got more stuff?
That's it.
All right. I think that's going to wrap up everything this week. We do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. But any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, and every single pledge, every single one of them gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters can gather in there and see Gavin's crazy electrical pictures. I do not know where you're finding these, Gavin, but man, they are cringe.
Yeah, stop posting them, please.
You're gonna give somebody an aneurysm.
Oh, I got.
He's got them queued up. That's the thing that I found out today because he's like, oh, I have another one. I was gonna post.
I actually have a whole bunch of pictures, but I don't share them all at once. I got save some for the slow days when I don't have anything to post.
Schedule
so keep the engagement up. So yeah,
controversy.
Yeah. I save it every now and then. I drop another one, but they're old pictures. I've had them for a while.
Well, there we go. Gavin, I don't know what's going to happen when you drop that next one. If you want to check that out, there you go, HomeTech.fm/support. If you want to help out the show but can't support financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on HomeTech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.
Pinewood, oh Pinewood, a dream left behind, a spark in the night, but the stars weren't aligned. Waited so long for the day you'd appear, a screen and a sound so perfectly clear. Through echoes and static I held on so tight. Pinewood, you promised to change my whole life.
I stood on the edge, I was ready to shine, a rival to giants, a future divine. But whispers of doubt turned cheers into sighs. Patrick Spence left, and so did my time. Oh Pinewood, we were meant to be, a love so bold, a symphony. But fate stepped in, and dreams got sold. Now all that's left is silence cold.
Have been different, you would have been strong, a place where all of my shows belong. Apple and Roku would tremble with fear, but now, my dear, Pinewood, you just disappeared.
I wanted to last, to stand with the best. HDMI my switching, no need for the rest.
But numbers and budgets, they cut me away. Sonos moved on, I had no place to stay. Pinewood, oh Pinewood, forgotten too soon. A love that was lost beneath the full moon. But whisper my name when the silence is long, and maybe, just maybe, I'll live in a song.